My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Hit subscribe right now. Check out my Federalist article below regarding the negative consequences of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal. The mining of cobalt, lithium, and nickel is linked to tremendous environmental damage, tremendous human suffering in the Congo, in countries in Latin America, and in China. This is all related to the mining of cobalt, lithium, and nickel. The human toll, the political consequences alone should tell you that the Green New Deal is not good for the planet, especially places that mine these metals that are needed for the manufacturing of electric car vehicle batteries. Don't think AOC looked into that. They did mention indigenous communities, 6 times within the resolution. They didn't bother to find out that these indigenous communities, especially in the Congo and other nations, would be adversely affected. The suffering would unfortunately increase exponentially. By some estimates, there's 35,000 children working in mines in the Congo to mine cobalt with 0 health standards. Some of these mines are radioactive. And then you have the environmental pollution, water shortages from the mining of lithium, breathing in dust and carcinogens. It's terrible. And that's just with 5% of car sales in the U.S. being electric car vehicles. Now, the Democratic Party wants 100%, okay? And when you have this amount of suffering around the world, just from the mining of cobalt, lithium, and nickel, with 5% of U.S. car sales being electric, imagine the toll, imagine the political and human consequences if you had 100% of car sales electric vehicles that rely on all this human suffering from the mining of cobalt, lithium, and nickel. And I explained that in my Federalist article. Definitely check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, by the way, my Second Amendment channel, check that out below. Amazing new segments. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a resolution in the House to block Trump's emergency declaration. President Trump declared a national emergency because there actually is a national emergency. In 2014, John Kelly, in a Defense One, General John Kelly, in a Defense One article, stated that it was an existential issue, an existential threat to the country. So when John Kelly was part of Trump's cabinet, oh my God, the chief of staff is gone. Now Trump, one of the adults in the room. Well, he was an adult in the room. He was, the media loved him when he was in the Trump administration. Now, if you just look back, 2014, he states it's an existential issue. So let's see really quick. Before I get to the fact that he's going to veto, Trump will veto if it passes the Senate. So it's going to pass the House. There's going to be a resolution. They're working on passing a resolution to block Trump's national emergency declaration. It's not going to. I don't believe it's going to pass the Senate, because you'd have to have 4 senators become Jeff Flake and become turncoats and vote alongside the wonderful, amazing Nancy Pelosi. I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, Trump just vetoes it, and there won't be enough GOP support to overturn the presidential veto. But let's see. This is a 2000. General calls border crisis an existential threat. This is Investors Business Daily. Oh, this is an Investors Business Daily article regarding the Defense One article. So John Kelly lays out his security vision, and this is a quote. The reason for the drug flow is our drug demand, and we do almost nothing about it. So let's see where the actual quote is. My God. He talks about, okay, what's happening in Central America, the breakdown of societies, lack of police effectiveness, and a lot of other things. The DHS chief says fostering economic development in Central America is just as important as vigorously enforcing. Okay. John Kelly, oh my God, wrong. This is the wrong article. Okay, so hold on one second. Defense One, John Kelly. Sorry. My God almighty. Where is this article? Okay, here. Top General says Mexico border security now existential threat to U.S. U.S. Southern Command General Kelly calls U.S. border insecurity, Latin America's broken societies, and insatiable American drug use existential threats to national security by Molly O'Toole. This is in Defense One article, July 5th, 2014. Marine Corps General John Kelly, commander of the U.S. Southern Command, has asked Congress this year for more money, drones, and ships for his mission. And he talks about, this is in 2014, when President Obama was deporting 2.5 million human beings without any condemnation and utilizing ICE without any calls to abolish ICE. There was a Senate report that talked about President Obama's administration handing children, okay, yes, to, believe it or not, traffickers. This was in New York Magazine, and guess what? No calls to abolish ICE, no condemnation of Obama regarding this. The media was as quiet as they are regarding Keith Ellison's female accuser, who has medical records. So whether it's Joy Reid and anti-gay blog posts that she blamed on the Russians, or Keith Ellison, who, by the way, his female accuser has medical records. The outrage over Kavanaugh, we never had a location, a time, a place, but oh my God, believe people, but don't believe people if it's a Democrat, a high-ranking or a very influential Democratic politician. We can go on forever. President Obama deports 2.5 million human beings. Not a problem for Democrats. But they're going to pontificate and they're going to teach you about morality. The most immoral hypocrites on the planet. But let's continue. This is interesting. In spring hearings before Senate and House Armed Services Committee, Kelly said the budget cuts are severely degrading military's ability to defend southern approaches to U.S. border. Last year, he said his task force was unable to act on nearly 75% of illicit trafficking events. I simply sit and watch it go by. Wow. And then you're talking about, and he goes on to talk about insurgents flowing through that region, that geographical region. So it's actually a word that if you say it, like instantly YouTube demonetizes the video, but starts with the word T. I'm just going to use insurgents, but he talks about that flow as well in terms of all the criminal activity. So you had all of these issues under President Obama. You have General John Kelly calling it an existential threat to the United States of America. And nothing. No, and you can look it up. Defense One, top general says Mexico border security now existential threat to U.S. And this House Democrats push ahead with bid to terminate Trump's emergency declaration. It's expected to easily pass the House, and GOP Senate leaders won't be able to block it from reaching the floor for a vote there. Okay. So that's what they're really interested in. Just opposing Trump. Where's the Medicare for All bill, by the way? Is there one? There's not one. Why isn't Bernie pushing a Medicare for All bill? I'm just wondering. He's running for president again. He's going to get cheated again. But my question is, I thought there was supposed to be a Medicare for All bill. I thought he was supposed to preside over a Medicare for All bill. I thought that all of this, I thought AOC, I thought Bernie, I thought that Kamala Harris, they're running in 2020. And part of the reason they won the House was because they're pushing for Medicare for All and a Green New Deal. Well, we have a Green New Deal resolution. Where's the legislation? The world's going to end in 12 years. Where's the? I mean, they're not even. Mitch McConnell said he wanted to vote on the Green New Deal resolution, and it was like, oh my God, how dare you? It was like, McConnell's trolling us. Well, it's your resolution. Why don't you want to vote on it? There's no legislation. There's no Medicare for All, and there's people on the left, pundits. All you hear about is Medicare for All, Medicare for All. All you hear about is that. And all you hear about from politicians on the left, Medicare for All. Where's the Medicare for All bill? Bernie had one in 2017. Nobody's championed that bill. What's AOC doing? She prevented and then celebrated 25,000 to 40,000 jobs, direct jobs from Amazon, and 107,000 direct and indirect jobs. That's from a USA Today article. And in my segment on that, my upload, I quote the article, and the article link is there. 107,000 direct and indirect jobs. Think of just the food trucks, janitorial services, construction. I mean, everything associated. Just all the business associated, dry cleaners, whatever, all the business associated with 25,000 new employees, 40,000, the 8 million square foot Amazon headquarters, that wasn't built for 25,000 people. Even one of the Amazon executives said, no, it was actually for 40,000 people. They wouldn't have got the $3 billion in tax incentives without surpassing the 25,000 job mark. And they still, and without giving billions in taxes. So, or paying billions in taxes. The whole point was generating revenue, generating economic growth. So it's like when I was on the left and I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, and that's what the Huffington Post called me. The Washington Post called me the unofficial scribe of Bernie's most hardcore voters. I looked at everything from a moral vantage point. And I also thought that Bernie Sanders would actually do everything possible to shake up the system. Now it's Trump. Trump is bringing home American soldiers from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. He's presiding over peace between North and South Korea. Prison reform. He signed prison reform. Is a great economy. Over 400,000 manufacturing jobs created, 300,000 lost under Obama. But one of the things that Bernie Sanders like, well, you can't work. There's economic inequality. You can't work two jobs and not be able to feed your family. Okay, so the average Amazon job is $150,000. AOC, under this new banner of Bernie-inspired progressive ideals, led the fight against Amazon. The whole point is, whether you look at the wall, because Democrats had no problem with voting on a fence, They had no problem deporting 2.5 million human beings. Whether you look at that issue, they say, "Oh my God, it's racist, it's immoral." Da da da. Well, it's not. It's not. The wall is not immoral, and it's not. It wasn't immoral to have Amazon set up a headquarters. You can dislike Amazon all you like, and if they're abusing their workers, there should be lawsuits or there should be legislation passed to ensure that workers everywhere aren't treated in a certain manner. I mean, this is the thing. They're like, well, your workers are being unfairly treated. Well, what have AOC and Bernie done to actually change Amazon policies? I think, what was it? Bernie did something and then they just skirted around it. It actually hurt the employees. I forgot what it was. It was about a year ago or less than a year ago. Anyway, the point is this. Democrats are actually more worried. They're more concerned about being moral. They're more concerned about the image of being morally superior than actually engaging in moral behavior. It is immoral to prevent 25,000 to 40,000 jobs in any community. That's not a moral act. That's not a good thing. If the vantage point was that 107,000 direct and indirect jobs, then you would have had more tech companies come, and it was supposed to be like the East Coast Silicon Valley. And if rents went up, yeah, okay, but there would be more job opportunities, not just from Amazon, just from all the economic activity and growth within that area. The median income in Long Island City is $56,000 something dollars. It's $56,000. The average salary of the Amazon employee would be $150,000. Just forget about that. I'm focusing on that. It's like forever now. Look, the issue of whether or not it's an existential threat or not, you can debate that. The point is, no court, and the Supreme Court and the Ninth Circuit actually just sided with Trump over an environmental lawsuit. But the Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court is not going to own what could be an existential issue. They're not going to say, nah, it's not really that big of a deal. Trafficking of, drugs, human, narcotics. It's not really that big of a deal. They're not going to own it. You have to, for Trump to actually, see, the House Democrats, they just, anything Trump, if he found a cure for cancer, they'd be like, pharmaceutical stocks are going to suffer. No, we can't do this. Anything Trump does, peace between North and South Korea, it's a photo op. Great economy, well, there's a deficit. 25,000 to 40,000 to 107,000 direct and indirect jobs. Well, we wanted to, we just didn't like it. It's like nothing that Trump does, or nothing that doesn't fall into this rubric of pseudo-intellectual, morally superior nonsense. If it doesn't feel good, and if it is linked in any way to Republicans, well, definitely if it's linked to Trump, then you get the Jussie Smollett, and you get the Covington issue, then you get the Kavanaugh, and it's just, hysteria and, Operation Cackle Screech, and at the end of the day, you overlook all the issues, whether it's Hillary Clinton calling black youth super predators, or just the other day Hillary Clinton saying, oh yeah, all black people look alike. And the interviewer was like, oh my God, you're so funny, Hillary. And meanwhile, the crowd that was listening to Clinton was appalled and mortified. And nobody said anything, because it's Clinton. She literally gets away with anything. That's going to change with William Barr. That's going to change. Mueller probe is essentially ended. Nothing. It's like the shirt. You spend 2 years. I spent 2 years listening to Trump Russia, and all I got is this lousy report. So what's his name? Mueller is going to go to Office Depot and get this little those little like covers, report covers, see-through report covers, plastic, and that's it. There's not going to be any indictments of Trump. He didn't commit any crimes, but there will be indictments of Clinton eventually because she committed crimes. Transferring top secret intelligence outside of the United States government is definitely a crime. Special access program intelligence also. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now to this channel. They're going to try to block Trump's emergency declaration. It ain't going to work.